My name is Jonathan Perry, and I'm a member of the Navajo Nation. I live in Vicente, New Mexico, which is north of Crown Point, within the Eastern Navajo Agency. I'm a member of the Eastern Navajo Dene Against Uranium Mining, INDOM, and we are a partner organization with various groups across the northwestern New Mexico area, including the Multicultural Alliance for a Safe Environment. And we also are a sister organization with the Redwater Pond Community Association. I am Bitterwater, born for Water Flows Together. My maternal clan, my maternal grandfather, are Sleeping Rock people, and my paternal grandfather are Folded Arms people. And so with that, I am Twitachini, Inchlado Toheglini, Bashichin, Senahabithni Dashiche, Do Bitatni Dashinale, Do Le Klotitsine Ado Nasha. Growing up in my community of Crown Point, there was little talk here and there of uranium mining projects that happened in the past. A lot of the discussions were towards how the projects were done in the past and what cleanup efforts were taking place, but really there was nothing in detail at the community level. We weren't getting people coming into the community to explain things to us, in plain language. That way everyone could understand. So growing up, I figured everything was in the past and that, the whole entire uranium discussion was pretty much over with. It wasn't until I started getting involved with my community. I was attending a chapter meeting one day because I was with Vicente chapter as part of their community land use planning committee, and we were there to present. But also on the agenda that day was INDOM. They were presenting updated information. But up till that point, I think that was in May of 2011, and up to that point, I had no idea that INDOM existed. I had no idea who the members were, but we had them come in and they gave a real good comprehensive report to the community, both in English and in Navajo. And so that's where I found out, that a lot of the issues were ongoing, that a lot of things that we were facing as a region, not only Crown Point, not only Church Rock, but other places across the Navajo Nation, that we were still having to deal with a lot of the long-lasting impacts. And that grew my interest. A lot of the work I did with my communities was on land use and land jurisdiction. And because the checkerboard issue in Eastern Agency, my assignment with my chapter was to make sure projects were done, but because of the different land jurisdictions, I had to work with different agencies. So when NDOM gave a report on my chapter, I was really interested in following up with them and figuring out, how my community was impacted. And come to find out, in Vicente, we do have an abandoned area, the Nose Rock Mine. My interests, with what was going on with NDOM and the report they gave, that really caught my attention. And so I thought about it. I did research on my own, aside from what I heard. And a few months later, the members of NDOM came back to my chapter and gave another report. This time they talked about the properties that the company that they were up against, which was Hydro Resource Incorporated, and or HRI, and they gave a presentation on the properties they own in Church Rock, Crown Point, and Vicente. And so from there, I talked to the members and I told them that I had an issue because nobody was talking about Nose Rock Mine. Everybody was talking about Crown Point and Church Rock, but really there was no discussion on Vicente. And so they told me, let's follow up, let's meet again, get the information that you have at your chapter, and I did. And then a few months later, I went to one of their meetings, and there we kind of discussed what was going on and where INDOM was and what the issues were that they were facing, what kind of the projects they have going in the community and the region. And so my interest was there, and then that's when I told them I was interested in joining the organization, and by that December I became the president of the organization. The Eastern Navajo Dene Against Uranium Mining was, like I said, formed in 1994, And Rita Capitan and Mitchell Capitan were the initial founders of the organization. They had members from the community of Crown Point, Nahadishki, Vicente, Little Water, and Church Rock. All these communities, they came together. They heard a lot of the points that Mr. Capitan was making and a lot of the concerns that he had with his previous experience with the uranium discussion and his work experience there. And so a lot of the community members grew concerned, and they realized that a lot of the information that was being provided was questionable from the corporations themselves. And people started talking, people started coming together, organizing as a community. And so with their leadership, NDOM was established and had representation across different communities in Eastern Navajo. The Net Fundamental Law has been law for so long. I mean, as the Net people were raised with, as being, when they were born and going into childhood and going into adolescence and into teens and adults, were constantly taught the Net Fundamental Law from our parents, our grandparents, and other relatives. It's instilled in a lot of our teachings. There are 4 major components of the Net Fundamental Law: common law, customary law, traditional law, and natural law. And these 4 components, there's different parts of those. It continues to build off that. Our organization focuses on a lot of our emphasis on natural law. Because we have a responsibility to our natural elements, we have a responsibility to our Mother Earth, and we're taught that each of our sacred elements have a place and that we have to respect it. In terms of uranium is one of those elements that have been in our teachings. It's in our traditions. We do have our medicine people who refer to it, and so this was long before the uranium mining began. And so when we talk about the work that we're doing, the efforts that we put in to prevent new mining and even cleaning up, on contaminated sites, we really emphasize the use of the Net Fundamental Law. So the Navajo Nation, like other tribal nations, have been targeted for natural resources. In this case, uranium, like other examples like coal and natural gas and such. And so that question always comes up, how many sites are actually on the Navajo Nation? And based on reports, based on the work being done, there are far more than 523. But throughout the years, trying to address cleanup, trying to address remediation, not only the Navajo Nation, but the federal government and other governments that are involved with this whole discussion, they are lacking the initiative to keep moving forward. There really is no cleanup taking place. There is no remediation. There is no major work being done. And it hits me hard because a lot of folks that I know that are older than me, they had years and years that they were exposed to this. They had fought so much. They went out and they were vocal. They were out there trying to get this issue addressed for so long. I mean, they're strong people, each and every one of them. Even before me, years before me, that there were folks out there really in the front lines trying to not only correct the wrongs that were done, but prevent any new accidents from happening. And for me, that's what inspires me a lot, to continue doing my work, continuing to advocate for the communities. If I could do just a portion of what others have done, that would mean a lot. With Navajo Nation, we get hit from different locations. We get hit not only with our sacred areas, but we have areas that are shared with other tribes. We have areas that really can cause a lot of heated discussion, and for an example is the Grand Canyon area, the mining's there. And we have to prevent that because not only Navajo Nation, but there's other tribes in that location that not only have sacred areas there, but live in the area. And we have to remind ourselves as indigenous people that we all share that long history of attacks on our culture, attacks on our people, and we need to stand strong together. And I guess with that, not only in the United States but across the world, because even with NDOM, with our organization, we get information from people in Canada. We get people that reach out from Australia, and they're wanting information on things that we're doing, but they also share information on what's going on there. And so this whole discussion is global. It is global. Everyone that's out there having to continue this fight, I just urge them to continue, keep going, because we have so much to lose if we don't address this issue. And even not only in preventing new mining, but we have so much work to do in addressing cleanup. We have so much to do, and what has to take place at the community level, the home level. So my heart is with everyone out there who are in this fight.